Imagine a world where justice hangs by a thread, where the innocent tremble before the mighty. But one little girl dares to pull that thread and unravel the corruption that's plagued her community for years. Picture this, a 9-year-old black girl, eyes blazing with unyielding determination, standing tall in a courtroom packed with skeptics, facing down a corrupt cop who's terrorized her neighborhood. This isn't just a story, it's a heart-pounding battle of wits, courage, and truth that will leave you breathless. If you're in the USA or UK, craving stories that ignite your soul and challenge the status quo, subscribe right now. Don't miss a single twist in tales like this that remind us why fighting for what's right matters more than ever. In the bustling city of Evergreen Heights, where skyscrapers kissed the clouds and the streets pulsed with the rhythm of diverse lives intersecting, lived a bright-eyed 9-year-old girl named Aaliyah Thompson. Aaliyah was no ordinary child. She had a spirit as fierce as a lioness, inherited from her grandmother who had marched in the civil rights movements of the 1960s. Her skin was the rich hue of polished mahogany, her curls a crown of untamed beauty, and her mind a sponge that absorbed every injustice she witnessed. Evergreen Heights was a melting pot, but beneath its vibrant facade lurked shadows of corruption, particularly in the form of Officer Marcus Hale, a burly white cop with a badge that he wielded like a scepter of unchecked power. Hale had been on the force for 2 decades, rising through the ranks, not by merit but by intimidation, bribes, and a network of dirty deals that kept the city's underbelly thriving, while the innocent suffered. Aaliyah's story began on a sweltering summer afternoon, when she was playing hopscotch outside her modest apartment building with her best friend, Jamal. The air was thick with the scent of barbecue from a nearby grill, and laughter echoed through the alleyways, but that joy shattered when Officer Hale rolled up in his patrol car, sirens blaring unnecessarily, his face twisted in a scowl. He was responding to a bogus noise complaint, one he had fabricated himself to harass the residents, who dared to question his authority. Jamal, a lanky 10-year-old with dreams of becoming a basketball star, had accidentally knocked over a trash can while chasing a ball, and Hale seized the moment to assert dominance. "You little punks think you own these streets," Hale bellowed, grabbing Jamal by the collar and slamming him against the car. Aaliyah, witnessing this brutality, felt a fire ignite in her chest. She had seen Hale do this before, to her uncle, to the corner store owner, even to elderly Mrs. Jenkins, who sold flowers on the sidewalk. But this time, it was her friend, and something snapped. "Stop. You're hurting him," Aaliyah shouted, her small voice cutting through the tension like a knife. Hale turned, his eyes narrowing at the audacious child. "Mind your business, kid, or you'll be next," he snarled, but Aaliyah didn't back down. She pulled out her phone, a hand-me-down from her mother, and started recording, her hands steady despite the fear bubbling inside. "I'm filming this. You can't just hurt people." The video captured everything. Hale's rough handling, cries, and the officer's threatening words. Little did Aaliyah know, this act of bravery would catapult her into a courtroom battle that would expose a web of corruption spanning years. As the video went viral overnight, shared across social media platforms by outraged citizens, the city erupted in protests. Hashtags like #JusticeForJamal and #StandWithAaliyah trended, drawing attention from national news outlets. Aaliyah's mother, Keisha Thompson, a single parent, working 2 jobs as a nurse and a waitress, was terrified. "Baby, you don't know what you've started," she whispered, hugging Aaliyah tight. But Keisha also swelled with pride. Her daughter had her grandmother's fire. The backlash was swift. Hale was suspended pending investigation, but he wasn't going down without a fight. Behind the scenes, he rallied his allies, corrupt superiors in the police department, shady lawyers, and even a judge with ties to the mayor's office. They planned to discredit Aaliyah, painting her as a troublemaker from a broken home. Meanwhile, a pro bono lawyer named Elena Vasquez, a fierce Latina advocate known for taking on civil rights cases, saw the video and reached out. "This girl is a hero," Elena told her team. "We're going to make sure her voice is heard." The case escalated to court when Hale sued for defamation, claiming the video was edited and that Aaliyah had provoked the incident. But Elena countersued on behalf of Jamal and Aaliyah for police brutality and civil rights violations. The trial was set in the Grand Evergreen County Courthouse, a towering edifice of marble and history, where echoes of past injustices lingered. In the halls, on the first day of the trial, the courtroom buzzed with anticipation. Reporters crammed into the benches, cameras flashing outside, and supporters waved signs reading "Aaliyah Speaks Truth." Aaliyah walked in hand with her mother, dressed in a simple blue dress that matched her determined eyes. She looked tiny against the oak-paneled walls and the judge's elevated bench, but her presence filled the room. Judge Harlan Whitaker, a stern man in his 60s with a reputation for fairness but whispers of political leanings, banged his gavel. "Order, this court is now in session." Hale's lawyer, a slick attorney named Victor Lang, opened with a venomous attack. "Your Honor, this is nothing but a smear campaign orchestrated by a child who doesn't understand the dangers officers face daily. Officer Hale was simply doing his job." Alina countered fiercely, doing his job. By assaulting a child, we have evidence of a pattern of abuse, and this brave young girl is here to expose it. As witnesses were called, the twists began to unfold. First, Jamal testified, his voice trembling as he recounted the fear he felt. He grabbed me so hard, I thought my arm would break. Then came neighbors who had suffered Hale's wrath. Mr. Patel from the bodega, who paid protection fees. Mrs. Lee, whose son was framed for a crime he didn't commit. But Hale's side fought dirty. They brought in an expert who claimed the video was doctored, using fancy jargon to confuse the jury. Aaliyah watched it all, her small fists clenched. The real twist came when Aaliyah took the stand. The courtroom fell silent as she was sworn in, her hand on the Bible looking comically small. Lang approached with a condescending smile. Now, little girl, do you even know what defamation means? Aaliyah met his gaze. It means lying to hurt someone, but I didn't lie. I showed what happened. The audience murmured. Alina guided her through the events, and Aaliyah's testimony was poignant. Officer Hale hurts people because he thinks he can. My grandma told me about Dr. King, how he stood up without fighting back. That's what I'm doing. Tears welled in jurors' eyes. But then, Lang cross-examined harshly. Isn't it true your mother has a record? Maybe you're just angry at the police. Keisha gasped, but Aaliyah stayed calm. My mom works hard. She's not angry. She's tired of bad cops like him. The room erupted in applause, quickly silenced by the judge. As the trial progressed, deeper corruption surfaced. Elena's investigation uncovered emails showing Hale had been taking bribes from a local drug ring to look the other way. A whistleblower from the department, Officer Ramirez, risked his career to testify. Hale threatened me when I reported him. He's got the chief in his pocket. Hale's face paled. But the defense twisted it, claiming Ramirez was disgruntled over a promotion denial. Then came a shocking revelation. During a recess, Aaliyah overheard Hale's lawyer whispering to the judge's clerk about a favor. She told Alina, who demanded an inquiry. It turned out the judge had financial ties to Hale's brother, a real estate mogul profiting from gentrification that displaced black families like all. Yes, Judge Whitaker recused himself amid scandal, and a new judge, the Honorable Judge Amelia Brooks, a black woman with a nonsense demeanor, took over. This court will not tolerate corruption, she declared. Under Judge Brooks, the trial intensified. Hale took the stand, sweating under the lights. I was just enforcing the law, he claimed. But Alina shredded him, enforcing the law by shaking down innocence. We have bank records showing deposits from known criminals. Hale stammered, his facade cracking. The jury saw through it. Then, a massive twist. Aaliyah's father, whom she hadn't seen since she was a toddler, appeared as a surprise witness. He had been in prison for a crime. Hale framed him for possession with intent to distribute, planted evidence. Hale ruined my life to cover his tracks, he said, voice breaking as he looked at Aaliyah. I'm sorry I wasn't there, baby girl. Aaliyah's eyes widened. This was the man from old photos, now reformed and seeking redemption. The emotional weight swayed the jury further. But corruption dies hard. Overnight, threats poured in anonymous calls to Keisha. Vandalism at their home. Alina arranged protection, but the pressure mounted. In a desperate move, Hale's allies tried to bribe a juror, but it backfired when the juror reported it. The FBI got involved, uncovering a larger ring of police corruption tied to City Hall. The trial became national news, with protests swelling. Outside, Aaliyah, now a symbol of resistance, spoke at a rally. I'm not scared. Truth wins. Her words inspired thousands. Closing arguments were electric. Lang pleaded for sympathy. Officer Hale is a veteran, flawed but human. Elena roared. Flawed. He's a predator hiding behind a badge. Aaliyah, at 9 years old, has more integrity than he'll ever have. The jury deliberated for